This meeting is being recorded.
All right, everybody, welcome to the CDS Designer discussion. We'll start with the gRPC issue first. Abdul, do you want to share your screen and showcase one of the packages we worked on yesterday on enrichment and how it's currently, not being enriched, the packages?
Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
So here we go. Yes, UI.
So this is this is the Frankfurt, okay? So it's 7.0 staging latest, both the UI and the backend. Hello, Ahmed. Thank you for joining.
So here we don't have the enrichment files. I will do enrich. So it says blueprint enriched successfully. But as you can see, nothing happened here. And the enrichment files are not generated. The response is success. If I save, again, I see success. If I download, I have a file. If I open this file, CBA7, and this file is empty. Only 1K cannot open. So I'm not sure why it says blueprint enriched successfully. While if I go and check the blueprint processor logs, if I see the blueprint processor logs, I can see that it is now 2:39. So we started here. Basic authentication assertion here found. Authentication success. And it says here I don't see errors. It says the CBA zip written successfully. Reading the blueprint pass. Overwriting blueprint model, clean the compile cache, deleted, deployed the blueprint model, and then no compile the cache present to clean. That's it.
950120717.
So this is the first issue we'll try to tackle. Shaban, do you also have like a call for enrichment process using the backend directly?
No, I didn't try the enrichment with the gRPC, but all the task that I did it related to download CBA. So the response from the server loopback is just the word success only from the gRPC, but using the REST API, it gives me the file.
Okay. Because I want to make sure, because it might be just a UI issue. So what we wanted to try is also using gRPC to execute it, the backend only, and see if it's a backend issue or it's just a UI issue. You know what I'm saying?
UI issue, you mean that it is the client issue or the server loopback?
It could be a client issue, server loopback issue, or it could be just the Blueprint processor issue, right? In the Blueprint processor, there's the files not being returned.
Okay.
We wanted to test with Blueprint processor directly and see what's happening. But Abdul did test with REST, and REST is working. The issue is with gRPC. That we know for sure, but we want to even narrow down the issue. Is it within the within the client, or is it within the server, or is it within the Blueprint processor?
Yeah, I used the REST call for the enrichment, and I got back a file with the enrichment files.
Right, and this is the REST call. That's right.
Yes, this is the REST call. And if I check the logs again, see the difference. So it is 4209. And you can see now 4209 starting from here. Now I see that we are enhancing the node templates, and the enrichment now is working. If I do a direct call to Blueprint processor, the data types, mapping files, and so on.
Okay. So, any questions for Abdul team? So Mamata, the first thing we want to do is tackle this issue. If we can you help? Can your team help investigate this issue first? Because this was something that was working for El Alto and in Dublin as well, and we're trying to figure out where the issue is, especially if it's in the UI side, right? The UI client or UI server side.
Okay, Yuri, sure.
Yuri, I suggested that maybe we can test the backend, maybe from client for Bloom gRPC, talking to gRPC that existed in the backend. Then we can test the gRPC from the loopback server IP.
I would love to do that. The question is, who can help with that, right? Do you have any bandwidth, Shaban, to do that?
I used the Bloom RPC before to test the gRPC, and I can try testing from my perspective the downloading CBA package with gRPC.
Can you do both download and enrichment?
I think if download if it will be working from the backend side, so the enrichment will be working. I see that. I think that the issue in the server loopback.
The server loopback itself? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Why don't we do this, Shaban? Why don't you try it? Can you also share how you're testing it so that we have the team knowing how to test as well? Then we can move forward and see where we need to make the fix, right? Is it the loopback backend? If it is, then Arisia has good background in this, and maybe she can help our team to kind of fix this issue.
Okay.
That way. So Shaban, if you can test it out, and maybe send some instructions of how you did the test and what the outcome is, that will really help. Okay. Any other comments on this topic? Plan. Thank you, Shaban and team for going with this plan for this specific topic. So let's change topics now. I wanted to go over the designer client. Sarah, do you have any updates you'd like to share with the team? Or any questions for me? Sarah, we cannot hear you if you're speaking. I see you went off mute, but we cannot hear you. Yes, now I can hear you.
About now?
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. How about now?
Yes, I think that's much better.
Okay. We were talking about the insert action from a default packages and other packages the user have access to, and I just made the changes that we wanted to discuss with Shaban and Ahmed. So
Okay.
I think I can share my screen now.
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is the section of the packages we can insert an action from, and this is the list of the actions. And we were discussing that we will have a default packages have multiple actions that user can use, and the other option that he can access another packages and can see all the packages, so he can from multiple packages.
So when you click on that drop down, what do you see? Is it a list of all packages or just the default packages? Like I can have a default package for VNF, for PNF, for CNFs.
This one is showing the default packages. This is the list of the default packages. And if I click on the list, so I'll have the other packages that I can access, and I can search by name, and of course I can show all the packages, including the default package. So this list I can select any of the package name, and again the list will appear according to the selection I've made.
Okay. So the only thing I'll say is that when you display that, can you also display the version? Can you go back to the list view? So it should be the package name plus the version, okay?
Do you mean this one after selecting the package name, or in the list?
Within the list.
This one should.
Even within the view package, it should say the package name and with version, okay?
So, do you mean this, like the CDS one? Okay. So, like,
Right.
like this one?
Something like that.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. And for the default one, is it having a version too?
Yes, everything has a version, correct.
Okay. So,
even in the view package, you should say default with whatever the version is as well. So,
but we have
everything.
One default package.
It should be one default package, correct?
Okay. So, and for the all packages, this default will show all the actions on and on all packages here, and of course it will be a massive actions. But it's just an option, so user can have the can have the access to all other packages and select multiple actions from different packages at the same time.
Yeah, it's fine for now. I worry about the implementation. If you do all, how that will impact the UI, because you might have 1,000 packages or 3,000 packages, and going through all of those packages and then getting all the actions might take a long time to do it. So just from a performance perspective, I have some concerns, but with the design, I think it's perfectly fine to have.
I think we can start by adding the default and the other packages, and we can discuss it later, the implementation of adding the whole packages.
I agree. And okay, anything else on this topic? I think this is good. Any questions, team? Does anyone have any feedback on how, on what the actions that are displayed based on the package that is selected? Okay. Very good, Sarah. I think this looks good. This is exactly what we talked about.
And the other changes for the designer, I'll start doing it in the next week.
Okay, that's the phantom box, right? On success, on failure.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, very good. I'm looking forward to those changes and updates.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Yuri.
All right, so this is good. So what I wanted to also maybe quickly cover is we have some new teams joining the CDS development for the UI. And what we're looking for is to also provide what the teams can work on. So based on the current client implementation, what I was thinking was that we should start with in the workflow. Shaban, in the workflow designer, did we get the actual what do you call it? Containers right sized, or is it still too very big? Shaban, you there? On mute?
I think he's speaking, but he's having a maybe. Speaking.
Okay. I want to just double check because one thing that we can work on is make sure that I see he left. I think he's going to rejoin. So Mamata, one thing we can do is currently this view package is not supported. So that if your team can take on this functionality in supporting the default package, and then listing for the default package the allowed actions that the user can drag and drop to the screen, I think that's something that your team can start with. So say that the designer client has been developed by the Orange team. They have done a wonderful job. They put a lot of foundational work for searching, for creation of the package, for creating template scripts, mapping files. The designer client is not this designer mode is not fully implemented yet. We will need some support in completing this designer client, and I think one path we can start with is making sure that we have a way to say what are the default actions that we can support using the default package itself. So the screens that was shared by Sarah, if you can start with this, where we say view the package, display the actions, and then with this drop down, display the available packages, and then we can start with that. Okay. But first, before we start with the designer client, I wanna make sure we address the gRPC, and then we can start with this designer client, or we can start in parallel. You can tell me what you feel comfortable with.
Okay, Yuri. RC is aware of both these issues, right? I mean, both the.
So I did speak about with RC about the issue with gRPC. She's aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
She actually did the initial implementation that was working in Dublin and El Alto. So I think we can probably, with Shaban's help, of figuring out where the issue is and with RC's past experience, resolve gRPC issue fairly quickly.
Okay. Sure, Yuri. We'll definitely look into it. I think for gRPC issue, we will get an email, right, with basic details.
Yes, correct.
Okay, Yuri. Sure. We'll start looking. I have Inderjeet and Rupinder, the two fresh full stack developers I have. So we are just trying to, RC will help us. We'll start doing this.
Right. So I would say first let's get onboarded, right? Make sure you can get the client up and running.
Okay.
Backend up and running. Look at the gRPC issue,
Okay.
and then we can start working on the designer client enhancement.
Okay, Yuri. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And I will make sure that you are included in this package itself. I have to include your team. I think I have Arisia here, but I have to share it with the two new members as well, and yourself.
Yes, Yuri. Yeah, please.
I'll add you to that. And one thing I'll ask Ahmed to also do is probably do another kind of overview of what we support, what was implemented as part of Frankfurt, so that we can have a handoff of what is needed for the designer mode implementation.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll try to do that hopefully this week. If not, we'll do it early next week.
Yeah, sure. We'll keep you posted as we progress.
Okay, so that's what I had for today. Any other topics the team wants to discuss? Ahmed, do you have any topics you wanted to discuss?
Yuri, I have one point. Do you have any feedback from the last release from your team?
Can you say that one more time?
Do you have any feedback from Frankfurt made?
So right now, I asked a few teams to give me feedback. It's currently being reviewed. So, for example, the Bell team, who is going to be a big user of this designer client, I asked Sebastian to follow up with his team to give us feedback. So he's working on that. Internally within AT&T, I have reviewed this already with my team, and they want the design is good. They just want the tool to kind of experience it and provide additional feedback as well, right? So they said this is exactly what we need, but we also want access to the implementation. And I'm also, working with Dutch Telecom to get their feedback. So there are a few teams I'm working with to get additional feedback, but so far it's been very positive, and so far it's not driving any other changes. The only thing that my team has emphasized on is that it's more of a back-end implementation, not the design, but you see how you have these different packages? So different operations teams will have different access to different packages, right? So there should be some sort of RBAC type of control.
Okay. So the thing I was intended to do after the release, that I wanted to do a usability testing for the release with the actual user that you've mentioned. So I need to see if that matching with your team for the current release. I want just.
So when you say usability testing, you're meaning from the implementation itself, not from the prototype, right?
No, yeah, from the implementation for the current version that is released. So I'm not just testing the design. I'm testing the usability of the application, and the back end is maybe it's reflecting the interface. So that's all applied for the testing.
Okay, That sounds great. I mean, if you're part of that testing, I'll make sure we get the right. So one of the things that I'll have to do is let you know who's going to be, our users, right, from the different companies. So I will give you some names
I
that
think
we can work with.
Maybe later to see the target user where we will creating the testing for it. So we'll to have a different type of features for the system.
Right. So Abdil and I will be one of the users.
Yeah, of course.
For testing, right? Make sure testing. So Abdil and I will be one of the users, and then we will also have some Bell, AT&T internal, okay, and also have what do you call it? Orange. I don't know if Abdil, you're from Orange. I'm assuming from a user perspective. And then we need somebody from DT. And I don't know if we'll have any other companies.
Actually, I may take 2 to 3 users from the technical background, the user who will just enter a data, or maybe he's just typing some code. This is the thing I wanted to discuss it with you later. So I wanted to go deep in the users, so to test specific users that are related to the application. And this is I wanted to create a test sessions, and that will be according to the time you will support me.
Okay, so why don't we maybe have a follow-up discussion tomorrow?
Yeah. Okay. When?
Okay. I'll ping you around 6:30. And we can connect. Okay.
So 6:30 at your time or my time?
My time, 6:30 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, so it will be let me check. Yeah, okay.
I'll send you the invite. If anything, ping me on Rocket Chat as well if I don't open the bridge.
Yeah, okay.
I should be there. All right. Any other feedback, team? If not, what I'll do is send out the meeting minutes as well on the plan. So I'll do that. And make sure we capture our discussion about gRPC issue for download and save and enrichment. So look back. Okay, and Shraban will be doing the testing. And Aristi. And what else? I think that's, and then we had the new design work. Start. Default package. Default package, and the only other thing I wanted to say is that we need probably Ahmed for I'll send out the meeting minutes later on the day. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and appreciate all your contribution and support. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Yuri. You too. Bye.
Thank you.